noticed? Murphy never talks or interacts with any of his players.
No.
When the players gather on the field, he's like 10 yards away with his hands on his hips.
He thinks he's Belichick.
He's the winningest coach in Harvard history, and I can't stand him.
Oh.
He's very treats his players very badly. So, and then, surprise, surprise, yesterday, the Patriots miraculously reappeared.
They woke up.
Yeah, I was surprised at the
And
paper.
that young man whose team didn't want him,
Gordon.
Mr. Gordon, and I can't remember what the team was now. It was something wonderful like
Yeah.
Cleveland or
Yeah, I was
something.
gonna say, I said it was the Browns. Yeah.
And,
Browns. Yeah.
you know, they dumped him like a hot rock,
And he fooled them.
and he played quite well, and he seemed to really be enjoying himself.
Yeah.
So, who knows? However, Cleveland, who won one game in the last 2 years, not counting this season, they've got this new quarterback named Baker Mayfield, and all of a sudden, they're pretty good. You know, makes a lot
I
of
watched
difference.
some of these new quarterbacks. They're not bad. I think they're pretty good, too.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
My old quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, however, he had a miserable game.
Well, he
yesterday.
tries.
He was doing very well. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His number one has a Harvard quarterback, and his number one receiver is a Harvard player as well. So
That's
turn-
nice. I
turn
like
out on
that.
things.
That's very
now for the having run through the sports notes.
Well, we didn't
I'd
talk
like
about the Red Sox. I don't
They
think.
finished their season out beating the Yankees.
The Red Sox, they won
Yeah.
a record number of games for them.
108.
Incidentally, other people have won more games in a
Yeah.
season than that.
Yeah.
But either they totally fell apart at the end of the season, or the manager was playing all the guys who hadn't played all year. Because they certainly, in their last 2 weeks, looked like the junior varsity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I must admit, usually they play the Yankees. It's a big,
Yeah.
blood and guts, death to the death thing. And I think he used 7 or 8 relief pitchers. He never had a starting pitcher in the game at all.
Each
you
one
know.
got an inning or two on. Or something.
What?
Each one got about one inning.
Right. He was just giving them work. It was like it was a spring training
Yeah,
game
well-
or something like that. So maybe he didn't care whether he won or lost. But unfortunately now,
But do you think it was
They
to give
sit-
the other people, certain other players a rest
well,
because of what's
sure,
coming?
no, sure, that was part of it.
That's
But
a
now
strategy.
they sit and don't play a game for at least 5 days, and the Yankees will be playing a do or die series,
Yeah.
and so the
Goodbye.
Yankees will come in when the Red Sox go back to playing. The Yankees will arrive full of vim and vigor and stuff.
But they got a lot of new young players
Yeah.
too.
I think the Red Sox probably have 2 more games left in this season, and that's it. So.
You might be right.
It's happened on rare occasions.
Yes, it has happened on more than rare occasions. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Susan chooses to engage with this subject, but
I don't blame
there's
her.
a gentleman out there by the name of Kanye West,
Oh,
and
Gentlemen? Okay.
he's he's Mr. Kim Kardashian.
Got it.
yeah.
And I don't know, they claim he's a musician, but I've never seen any evidence of that. But he's said some outrageous things in the past,
Yes.
like slavery was a choice for black folks. But now he's
Well,
come
if you
out,
look at it, slavery was a choice. You could be a slave or commit suicide.
or you could be dead, yes, right.
All right.
It was a little hard
Not much.
to swim the Atlantic Ocean
Yeah.
back to,
Yeah.
You got it.
but Now, in his great defense of his love of his life, Donald Trump, he's now come out and called for the repeal of the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment, for those of you who don't carry the Constitution around you, abolished slavery. And he wants to repeal it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out, since he's got a lot of money, I don't know what air to put on it, but he's got a lot of money, particularly if he gets hold of his wife's money. So we're trying to figure out, is this because he wants to be a slave or he wants to buy slaves?
Maybe both.
I
Who
was gonna say
knows?
probably both. Well, he
Both.
already is a slave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Well, that
he is.
that was your comment. Would you like to expand on that?
I mean, those people got him literally by his nose and someplace else.
Yeah.
They're nothing but trash. Trash, trash, trash. From the mother on down.
Yes.
Every last single one of her children is trash. And she's trash. And she talks about how she cheated on her husband, the poor guy. In some ways, I know he's up there wherever saying, thank God I'm dead. Because all of his children are trash. All they know how to do is live through one orifice in their body.
Her first husband is glad he's dead, and her second husband ran out of manhood.
There you got it.
Well,
And now, ironically, has a girlfriend, just to confuse things.
he could have taken those pills that they advertise in the Herald.
There's pills they advertise in the Herald that turn you into a woman?
No, they add to your strength.
He didn't want
He
that.
didn't want
he wanted
that.
to become a woman.
Wanted to become-
Well, he could have been a strong woman.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you actually put it a little mildly by calling them trash. I mean,
Okay.
every dollar they've earned has been earned through a version of prostitution.
That's what I said. They only know how to function
Yeah.
through one orifice.
Well,
in their
there's a,
body.
there's a new comedy in that came out this past week,
A new comedy. Good.
Okay.
and that's called Night School.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
with-
And they made the most money. They made
with,
about 28 million.
Kevin Hart and Tracy Haddish or something. Tiffany Haddish.
Yes. Kevin, is that his name? Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. He's a little bitty, 5'4".
This-
Yeah, he's about the size of Mickey Rooney.
Okay.
The funny thing, though, is I like him.
He is funny.
You know,
I've seen him
he
in-
has this show on TV where people run this
TKO.
obstacle course, and the other contestants try to knock them off and stuff. And it would be the stupidest, dumbest show since the Gong Show, except for the fact that Kevin Hart has so much energy.
Yeah, his commentary.
He does have
and,
a-
and amuses himself so much that it's fun to watch him. I don't really care if they put the camera on the contestants. Just leave it on Kevin Hart. he's fun.
Yeah.
So
It's a contestant show.
I was starting to think the other day, when's the last time I actually saw a movie? And I can't remember.
I'll
can't
tell you
even-
a movie I saw late one night on HBO recently.
Oh, I mean in a movie theater, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but the name of it is The Shape of Water.
Yes.
Oh, I've heard that was.
That's a
Big-
good
Is that from a
one.
book?
Big Oscar winner.
Yeah, that was an Oscar winner.
Yeah,
My
big
son
Oscar
Bruce said to see it, and you ought to catch it. It's very good.
Now, the person that we would rather not talk about has quietly, in the background, made another nice, typical move. In the middle of the night, he has shipped 1,600 immigrant children to a tent city
In
outside of El Paso,
In the-
Texas,
in the desert,
in the dead of the night,
right?
and are so smug that they're not afraid to say, well, we did it in the middle of the night because it would make them harder for them to escape. You know, I can only envision them doing this in boxcars,
True. Yeah.
you know,
But
and
they're-
putting up a sign, work will make you free.
Yeah, but they were originally, before they started shipping some of them out, there were 13,000.
Yeah.
That was the number I saw in
Yeah.
the paper. It's,
And,
it's unbelievable.
But do you think maybe maybe this is why, he's all for the FBI investigating Kavanaugh, the
Kavanaugh.
king of beer, because
For a week.
because this will divert attention. You know,
It
it's like-
covers
It's
him.
always, yeah.
Almost everything is a thing to,
Yeah,
to
divert the
convert him.
attention, yeah.
Now he says he's renegotiated NAFTA, but he, in typical fashion, had to rename it.
Yes.
So now he's calling it
Trump's-
USMCA or something. And I would love to know what's in there. And then he went off in a press conference today saying, you know, well, all the babies who complain about tariffs, you know, we wouldn't be here without the tariffs. The tariffs is what brought us to this agreement, and we wouldn't be here without the tariffs.
He really is.
And
He's masterful in all these things, isn't
oh,
he?
yeah, the art of the deal.
Right. He's-
I wish he'd let the guy who actually wrote the art of the deal make the deals.
yeah.
You know?
that would be good, but it won't happen, as
What
we
a
know.
what a dummy. And then we have a guy in the Republican Party who actually has some small shred of integrity, not much. Senator Flake.
Isn't that an interesting name?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? He's a flake.
Yes.
He's
That's
a
his name.
flake.
Yeah,
What a flake.
Well, Trump loves it. He doesn't even have to make up a name for him. But anyway, Mr. Flake decided that he would actually, on his way out the door, because he's not running for re-election,
He's a lame duck.
he'd put a little pressure on his colleagues and imply that he might not vote for Kavanaugh unless they let the FBI investigate him. And that's really why they're doing it. So he gets a little bit of kudos on that. But as you were saying, somebody was interviewing him and saying, if you were running for re-election, would you have had the courage to do this? And he shrugged and made a face, which meant no, I wouldn't have done that.
And he did say eventually no.
But, and then on the other side of it, see, I think there's now a 50% chance he won't get confirmed. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
that the
So
next.
who's next to the bat?
I don't know
Next
who's
to the
next,
plate.
but it'll be just as bad.
Yeah.
You know, but I get like these days in a panic. I get at least 3 emails a day from Heidi Heitkamp, who's the senator from North Dakota, who is trailing for re-election in North Dakota. And without Heidi, we can't take back the Senate, and we need money, and they're pouring in, and
yeah,
Trump is
yeah.
coming. And,
I get him too.
but they're like 3 a day, or at least, you know. Heidi Heitkamp, Democratic senator, has not yet committed to vote against Kavanaugh.
Right.
So I answer one of the emails with, don't bother me until you become a Democrat and commit to vote against Kavanaugh. I figure if that comes back on their money appeals,
Yeah.
maybe it'll get to her eventually.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Maybe someone actually read it.
huh?
Maybe someone actually, you know, not their auto. Maybe someone actually.
Yeah, well, that's possible.
Yeah.
The robot may not
Yeah.
care, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is now time for the Big TV Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation from this evening, which is quite interesting in its subtlety. This is actually from 2011. It's kind of off the top of the deck.
10.
Oh, it says 11 on mine.
Oh, I put it there.
Because when you hear it, you will think that it was written by H.G. Wells, because when this was written, Donald Trump hadn't even suggested running for president. So it is called, fittingly, Inconsequential.
The dollar has fallen,
Well, pick it up.
It's not on the floor.
but it's getting there.
The pound will be worth double.
Even the euro costs more.
What do I see? A bunch of money changers.
Jesus threw them out of the temple.
It's all values.
Get serious.
Go to Europe and you'll find out.
Why? There's plenty to see in the good old USA.
And a cheap dollar should make exports cheaper.
China's currency follows our dollar.
Yep, Toyotas, Hondas, prices don't go up.
But tsunamis do, yeah.
Japan just eats the cost, like recalls.
Well, I don't believe that.
It's the trade deficit, dummy.
And as budget's deficit grows,
What about the Federal Reserve Bank, you wise guys?
It just raises interest and prints money.
Yeah, my savings will be worthless.
buy gold.
But prices of hamburger or pizza are just the same as they were.
Well, what about gas?
Dollar goes down, the oil prices go up.
Oh, and any foreigner can just walk in and buy our stocks.
Not if they get worried about our budget deficit and debt ceiling.
You mean like that German inflation after World War I?
Paper money was worthless.
And if the president continues cutting taxes,
Maybe another housing crash.
I wish you two would just go stick your heads in the sand.
some very selfish people out there.
Well, I'm glad I live here.
Well, it's cheaper than over there.
Well, we've had our financial ups and downs.
And then the bubble bursts.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
Bush had an MBA from Harvard.
Yeah, he understands all this.
And he took some steps to turn it around.
Sure, Joe.
I'm glad I don't play the fiddle.
Well, there's always hope, isn't there?
I'm a compassionate conservative.
Social Security, health insurance, and public schools.
We've got some pretty smart folks in this Obama cabinet.
And we still have terrorists in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I'm waiting for the next inauguration.
Start saving for retirement.
Raise the Social Security payroll tax and raise the retirement age.
Okay, and gotta have money for those monthly checks later.
Company pension checks.
Now, there's a big joke.
That's a big joke, huh? So we cut benefits, Medicare and Medicaid.
Bad political move.
So we borrow more money if Congress agrees.
Why don't we get the younger crowd to pay?
But I thought personal investments would do the job.
Oh, maybe in good times.
Okay, then a mandatory 401k?
What? A mandatory savings program?
Yeah, automatic for all the workers.
Then there's income tax refunds.
Sure, use some of that.
And eventually the wars will end.
No.
Wait a minute, I'm wrong. It doesn't sound good
They-
for retirees.
Eventually they will. Next page.
Next page. Doesn't sound
Yeah.
good for retirees.
Well, they can always drive up to Canada for their meds.
Or Tijuana if they live in Southern California.
And I hope they're not fake pills.
Well, I think it's kind of exciting, all those bus rides.
Planning is out.
New ideas are in, like vouchers if you're sick.
Yeah, and while we're at it, we need new colors for those terror warnings.
But less government is better. Fewer lobbyists.
Legislative staff should get smaller.
And end that pork barrel spending.
Eventually, the wars will end, I hope.
Even terrorists get tired.
And I hear their pay is lousy.
Maybe we should offer them disincentives.
Free trips to Patagonia.
Teach Taliban history in Tibet.
Yeah, how about studying the Big Dig repairs underwater?
Very good. Sounds like science fiction.
Still, it's promising.
Helping to develop the new Iraqi economy.
Yes, Sunnis, Shiites, Kurds. Exciting!
You seem to have left out the negative influences like religion and oil.
And Syrians, Moroccans, Saudis, Egyptians, Libyans, and Iranians.
Actually, their suggestions could be helpful.
Yeah, they could teach us how to defuse bombs, create landmines, other devices,
Like
and
a
oil line sabotage.
Yeah, right. We're getting there.
I'm less depressed about the situation now.
Oh, so there is hope.
You gotta stay focused.
And regroup.
More of our troops are on the way home.
Gas prices are dropping.
Like our dollar, remember?
And the Republicans are getting real used to deficit spending.
But we need to keep cutting taxes.
Privatizing is the way.
Global warming's new markets, and swimsuits and tropical resorts. In the melting Arctic, there are polar bears and seals.
All right, well, maybe we should bring back tariffs.
Stop worrying about trade imbalances.
Yeah, people are back to work, some.
Unemployment benefits are down this week.
You dreamers.
Some GIs might like to settle out there.
Well, the Romans did that for their old veterans.
And shrinking Social Security checks can be therapeutic.
A different way to live.
Being poor can be creative.
Hey, don't you know handouts destroy character? After all, we're not communists.
Well, everyone can do something.
Living isn't a free lunch.
Even you inherit some money and property.
Kids can't be left behind.
Trailer park can be recycled.
What, into campus-style schools and new communities?
The worst is over.
So let's gather by the fireside.
And President Obama will remind us all about freedom.
But keep out all those foreigners
Build that wall higher.
Keeps us safer.
and let's work to make our country great again.
Just remember, a heavily spending consumer is an American patriot.
Here, here.
Oy.
Oh, there you are. You've done it again.
Blackout, as the saying
Blackout.
goes.
Okay. And did we talk about California and what they're going to do out there for women?
No, we didn't.
You know, they're going to put them on these boards of these corporations. They have to, every
So they
corpora-
passed a law in California that says there must be a minimum number of women on the boards of any California chartered corporation.
Yes.
Okay.
And
This probably means that there will be a good deal more women on boards.
Right.
And also that there will be a good many fewer California chartered corporations. Because a corporation can move its charter like that.
yeah. And a lot of people are already got all this money in these islands out there all the time, and all over the world they have little islands where they take all this money.
Yes.
That's not money changing.
The mini Switzerlands.
Yes.
The mini Switzerland. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Well, all I can tell you is they're coming up with a new product. It's called kosher bacon.
What?
You heard me, and all those people out there.
Kosher bacon.
And
it's
it comes
n- and
from
it's new for to get a kosher certification. It's pretty tough. How to deal with
Wait a
clean
second,
meat.
huh?
They have this is how to deal with this. I'm telling you how they make this.
Okay.
okay.
They have to clean meat, so it's grown in labs from animals with cells. Okay. If you don't understand
So is
that,
that
I'll
like
go
turkey
on. Wait a
bacon?
minute. Start up.
Is
Say
it pork or not?
what?
Is it pork or not?
It's not pork. It's
Well, then it's
made
not
in.
bacon.
It's made in laboratories. Everything.
But you said from animals. What animals?
Well, it doesn't say in the article,
Well,
but I assume it would be a cow, or a deer, or something like that.
Or a chicken or a
No,
No,
or
it can't
something?
be.
Can't
no.
be a chicken.
Why can't it be?
Chicken not kosher.
Well, that's
Chicken's kosher.
it
Chicken's
could be a
kosher.
chicken. All right, I
what
haven't
about
thought.
turkey? They
I
have
don't
turkey
like
bacon.
turkeys. I got half
What?
of them here in Brookline.
Let your Jewish panel members tell you all about this.
All right, well there you are.
I remember when I was in college, I took a fairly large.
You seem dubious about what I was telling you.
I know, but let me.
All right, go ahead. Okay.
I took a bunch of kids from the Jewish Community Center in Cambridge
Okay.
on a camping trip with my Jewish roommate.
Okay.
And everything was going very well. And I got up early on the second morning and I stoked up the fire and I got out everything. And I discovered that I had to give these kids beef strips
Beef.
instead of bacon.
Oh.
Yeah.
And at
Pretty
6
good.
in the morning over an open fire, it doesn't cut it. It does
I
not
like
cut it.
beef strips. I've had those. Yeah.
They're not bacon.
No, they're not bacon, but they are beef strips.
Kosher bacon.
Yeah, but you can put
But
some.
I mean, they already have beef strips.
Yeah.
yeah, but you can put all kinds of things on top of those beef strips. so they can taste. You know, the kids like garlic on it.
So they'll taste like something.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Okay.
Instead of dog
Well,
treats.
yeah. Okay. Then there's a company called Royal Dutch Shell.
Okay.
And they have 4 partners who they're raising $31 billion.
Okay.
What's this for?
Yeah.
It has to do with it has to do with liquefied natural gas, which is projected in Western Canada. They say there's a lot of it there, and that would carve out, if they use this route across the top of the world, that would mean it would only take 8 days to get that through this.
New routes due to global warming
Yes.
and the melting of the ice cap and things
but
like
the
that.
other way is 20
Somebody's
days.
always ready to take advantage of any disaster.
Yeah, well, that's it. It doesn't say much about the animals, but anyways, we got too many sharks and seals around, they say.
Yes, well, there's no sharks in the Arctic,
No, how do you know?
but there are polar bears.
Oh, polar bears.
Because
Okay.
I've swum the entire Arctic.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
All right, my friend. So we will not see you next week,
No.
ladies and gentlemen. Was that your cue?
Yes.
It's
Indigenous
I'm now
Persons Day.
taking subliminal cues. We won't see you next week because it will be Columbus Day, and Kira would be very upset that we even mentioned that because Kira can't stand Columbus. But
That's why I said in Canada they call it Indigenous Persons Day.
good. So should we.
Yeah.
So should we.
wait a minute.
And I won't be eating in an Italian restaurant anytime soon.
Okay.
Having said that,
North
but
End, he's a big hero. Come on.
that's it. I won't
But
be
we're in
eating in
Brookline.
any Italian restaurant.
Why
for a
not?
while.
What are you going to put
Because
on?
I just said we should get rid of
Columbus.
Columbus Day.
As long as it says I voted, that thing under that, you'll
I
be
voted.
all right.
I voted. Okay.
They won't bother you.
They probably wouldn't bother me.
Okay,
anyway,
well, there
but
it
we'll-
is.
We'll be set.
Okay.
So we're coming down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in 2 weeks. We'll be back. We will search in the reservoir and find something new.
we
Good night
always do.
and- Good night and good luck.
It made good news.
Wasn't